The man trapped in the mansion had finally made a wrench, but just as he was about to unscrew the bolts on the vent, he snapped the wrench in half, but Mike didn't give up. The vent was the only way out of this mansion, so he removed another chair leg, using the same method to carve out a screw shape. This time he turned it very carefully. What he never expected was, after half a day of effort, he actually managed to unscrew one bolt, although there were still 11 bolts left on the vent. This gave Mike hope for survival, to successfully escape from here. Every day after that, he worked to stay alive. When hungry, he'd eat some steak from the mansion. When tired, he'd sleep soundly in the mansion. When he had time, he'd make wrenches. Finally, after who knows how many days, he successfully unscrewed 10 bolts with his homemade wrenches. But just as he was excitedly unscrewing the last bolt, he suddenly slipped and broke his leg on the spot. This instantly plunged Mike into deep despair. He didn't understand why God was doing this to him, with no other choice. He could only nurse his injury for the next few days, wait until he could walk again, then unscrew the last bolt. Unexpectedly, while lying on the floor resting one day, he suddenly noticed a smoke detector on the ceiling, and it was constantly flashing lights. At this point, he didn't want to try anymore. He decided to just trigger the smoke alarm. Without hesitation, he tore some paper into pieces and put them in a bowl, then used a magnifying glass to light the paper on fire. He even made a torch and held the torch right under the detector. Sure enough, the next second, the entire mansion was drenched in pouring rain. Mike was ecstatic at this moment. He ran desperately to the front door, thinking the door would already be open, but when he got to the door, he found it was still locked tight, and so Mike fell asleep in despair. When he woke up the next day, the entire mansion had turned into a waterfall cave. He grabbed his wrench and climbed straight to the vent, planning to make one last attempt. But what nobody expected was, he actually succeeded in the end. He successfully escaped through the vent.